Indeed.
What the heck's going on?
Good evening. Appreciate the sarcasm over there.
Sorry, I just don't.
All right. My name is Chad Stubenbort, and I am a resident of Monroeville. So I came to speak to a few things that were said at June 13th's meeting, actually directed towards me, where Ron said he was investigating the numbers for the crime statistics that I had mentioned. So there's three main things I just want to go over and then kind of dispute those. So it was stated that numbers that I gave were from dispatch calls from our call center, not from the uniform crime statistics, which is true. He then went on to give an example of a stabbing. If it was, let's say, occurred in Penn Hills, dropped off at UPMC East, that would then constitute a stabbing call at the dispatch center. So talk a little bit about that. I was accused of using the wrong statistics. And then thirdly, and I quote, "People need to quit picking out the things that show weakness and need to make suggestions on how to support everyone," so I will do that as well. So before I begin, I'm giving you crime statistics. On the front page is showing comparison of year-to-date over the last year compared to 2014 through our dispatch center. On the second page, it is comparing 2016 to 2015 with the uniform crime statistics that Mr. Harvey recommended I use. And then on the last page, it's comparing year-to-date for 2017 to all of 2016, just to show where we are just about halfway through the year. In 2016, so on the second page, the UCR, the Uniform Crime Reporting, states, can someone read to me the assaults with firearms? How many? On that second page.
0.
0. Okay. Mr. Habalo, could you use the overhead camera, please? If you could zoom in on that for me. All right, so this is showing a news article of two individuals who were shot on Monroeville, or on Mall Boulevard. That was in 2016. So the statistics that I was told to use, the Uniform Crime Report, shows 0 assaults with a firearm, but yet here we are with 2 people shot in the middle of daylight, actually, at a shopping plaza in Monroeville. So I'm not sure which statistics we want to use, and the second allegation was that I used the wrong statistics. So I'll use whatever statistics we want to use. I mean, we can go through and show with the dispatch center that we've had a 45% increase in assaults, 50% increase in drug activity, 43% increase in gunshots, gunshot wounds increase, overdoses, prostitution, stabbing, etc. We can also use the uniform crime reports if we want to, but again, it's hard to say, hey, these are the stats we should be using, when obviously saying there's 0 individuals that were assaulted with a firearm, and yet we had 2 individuals that were shot.
Do you know the requirements for the Uniform Fire Report? Do you know the rules to follow those?
You can enlighten us
Do
all.
you know? No, do you know?
I had several conversations with multiple police officers, but if you'd like to enlighten everyone.
Do you know the rules for following Uniform Crime Report? You don't? Just say it. Say no.
No.
You could say it, no.
No, enlighten me, please. I did several times.
So the bottom line is what I'm trying to tell you is that there is different rules for following uniform crime reports as compared to what you see something that was reported at the dispatch center. Could there have been an error? Holy miracle, yes. There could have been, okay? Because there are human beings that write those reports down. So my question is, of the 2 stabbings that happened at the mall, what are you going to do about them?
And I'll get to that. That was my third one.
Oh, okay, cool.
Thank you. So again, the statistics, as you had pointed out, aren't always correct for both. And you're involved in the fire department, as am I.
Exact.
Multiple times we
Statistics aren't
get
exact.
Yeah, exactly. Multiple times we get a syncopal episode, or come in as a cardiac arrest and it's an overdose. Those aren't recategorized. So the overdose numbers should actually be inflated, but they're not. So what I'm saying is we can use any stats you want, and you can go and look through. Right? We can use a uniform crime report and show In 2015, there were 2 rapes. In 2016, there were 6 rapes. I think everyone can admit on council that 6 people being raped in the municipality on the uniform crime reports is a problem. Now, in January, and this is to go saying that I used the wrong statistics. Mr. Mayor, in January, during your State of the Municipality, you stated several statistics and stated that crime was down in Monroeville. Which statistics did you use for that?
UC.
That's actually incorrect. You used the dispatch center stats. So you stated that there are 0 rapes in January, whereas the UCR states that there are 6 rapes. Car thefts were 22. Assaults you had listed as 90. On the UCR, there's 56. Retail thefts was listed at 280. On the UCR, there's actually not even a designation for retail theft. It just shows 478 thefts. So I used the same statistics that the mayor used, and I would assume the same statistics that Nick used when he paid for an ad and said that crime was down in Monroeville. And I was told I used the wrong statistics. So I can use either statistics. I think that the first thing that we have to...
What's your bottom line, Chad? Do you want to make Monroeville, is that your idea? Let's just talk about how bad it is?
No, not at all. I think everyone up here knows how good Monroeville
I think
is.
our police department does a wonderful job.
And I will get into that. Of course, we all can
And I
sit here and
think
say
that our crime is, we certainly have crime. There isn't one city in America that doesn't have it. But thank God we don't have the major crime that you see in other cities. I mean, I guess I just don't like how you're presenting, like you're thinking we're trying to hide something. Everything that this department does, what can be released publicly, can be released. All you have to do is write a right to know. There are certain things you can get, certain things you can't get.
Mr. Mayor, respectfully, I will use whatever stats you would like me to use. What I'm saying is, I stood up here, told you that there was a crime problem, and showed you statistics to back it up. I was then told I used the wrong statistics, I should use these other statistics. Meanwhile, I used the exact same statistics in which you stated crime was down. So for you to say that crime is down, here's the statistics. And then I utilize the exact same
Well, I
statistics.
got the ones from the chief, but that's neither here nor there.
So, and I used those same statistics and showed you that the violent crimes are increased. And then we're being told, oh, Chad, you're just making us look bad. You know, you can't fix a problem unless you first admit that there is a problem. So that will take me into the next one.
Well, what's your solutions? Because, here's the key.
Great segue. I'll get into that.
Our department work, I'm not even going to get into that because I can't get into too much, but our department does an unbelievable job. Monroeville is a very safe place to live.
Okay.
And the way you're putting it out there, it's not.
That's not the case at all. So I will...
Well, that's what it sounds like to me.
Well, we'll talk about several solutions, and Ron had asked for them. You've now
Mayor,
asked
is there
for them.
a 5-minute limit?
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
We had a citizen that spoke for close to 18 minutes at the first, and they were not.
Chad, I run the meeting.
Would you like to hear the solutions or no?
Go ahead.
Okay. So, when we talk about the police department, we say, oh, we love our police, they're great. I think everyone up here can agree with that. In 3 years' time, the training budget went from over $100,000. Last year, we used $4,000 for training. We had individuals that had to call off work to go to training and pay for training on their own. So, we can all sit up here and say, we love our police, they're awesome, this is a great town, but are we, the proof's in the pudding, are we actually backing them up? When we cut a training budget from over $100,000 down to $4,000, what is that saying? When we cut a traffic division, right? How many large container trucks, how many 18-wheelers do we have going through here? How many drugs do we have coming through the community? And
I didn't know you were a police officer. The chief made that decision on cutting the traffic
Mr. Mayor,
division
I would not
because he
interrupt you.
wants more officers on the street that does their job.
Well, if we wanted more officers on the street, we probably should not have lowered the minimums either.
He didn't lower the minimums. He does appropriately for each shift that he fills. Is that there are no really minimums because that's gone away. Chief has the right to put as many as he wants on any shift.
Okay. K-9 officers, right? We have one K-9 officer.
Correct.
When we had a high-speed chase through the Gateway campus and we had bricks of heroin thrown on the campus, we had to call in North Versailles and the county police for them to come over there. We've budgeted $675,000 this year for overtime for police officers. If we hired police officers, and I'll actually give kudos to Nick, he had brought this up last July about the hiring process, and we've gone through, we have a list, it's not certified yet if I'm accurate in saying that, but we do have a list, and I hope...
They'll be hired sometime this year.
Very good.
We're working on it. August, September, they'll be hired.
Very good. You asked for other solutions. So I think across the country and definitely in the state, we have a drug problem, and that's not specific just to Monroeville. We have 2 hospitals in town. Does anyone know how many detox centers we have in town?
Detox.
We have 0.
That's correct.
So if we're looking to actually be proactive in these things, these are issues that I would like to see the municipality working with our hospitals and saying, hey, if we had a detox center here in town, if someone gets arrested or someone gets taken up to the hospital, right? So I take an overdose patient up to the hospital, they can't do anything. They can give them Narcan just like we can in the field. They get back to it. There's no detox available at these hospitals. So I know we have a good working relationship with the hospitals. That's just, again, a solution, a suggestion. If you believe that there is a problem, we can work towards.
Don't they just do a 3-day detox anyway at a hospital?
That's dependent upon what they do, but right now we have 0 detox.
Okay, but
You talking about the rehab facilities?
you want
No,
a
no.
rehab, like
No,
a whole, like a
hospitals-
gateway?
Hospitals that have a detox center. So if we have a patient that needs to be detoxed right now, we have to transport them and take a unit outside of Monroeville
Okay.
down to Mercy Hospital.
Okay. And have you looked at the stats of the success of a hospital having a in-house detox?
I can tell you that
That it would be
0
worth-
patients that we take to Forbes or UPMC East go into a detox center at either of those facilities. So,
Well, how many of those patients that are taken to those hospitals then go on to go into a detox center on their own?
I would,
That's what I'm asking, because you always have all these statistics, so I'm guessing that you researched this.
I've done a lot of research, and again, detox centers in town are much more beneficial than detox centers out of town, right? We have everything in Monroeville. We like to claim how great Monroeville is because we have everything. I think that's an easy thing that we can talk to the hospital and try to bring in.
I'm not saying it's
the
a bad
last-
idea to ask the hospitals.
One of the
I'm
other
just
things I
asking
wanted
if
to
you
touch
knew
on.
anything, you know, to statistic-wise, to use in the conversation.
I would ask you to look up your own stats there. I think,
How about the alcohol problems? What do they do with alcohol problems?
I don't know, I'm looking at the problem that we have in town,
Well,
showing
should we
that,
also look at alcohol problems?
I don't know. Tom, you laughed when I brought up stabbings at the last meeting, so,
I'm sorry? I
The
missed
mall
it.
brawl, there was-
I didn't hear you. My hearing aids aren't working well.
I stated when I brought up stabbings at the last meeting, you laughed. I can show you
Yeah,
the video.
because
if you
it was
look.
a lot less than what you said it was.
No, it went
Am I
from 1
correct?
to... No, it went from 1 to 10.
Get you your 4th point. Chad.
No, I still want to find out about alcohol issues.
Oh, I
But
hope-
we hasn't there been arrest? There hasn't been arrests, I guess, but there's been people stopped that have been let go that I heard. Have I heard that?
I think you should bring anything like that to fruition there, buddy.
Well, have you heard that?
I don't know what...
Or do you know anybody that's happened to? That they were stopped, let's say in Pitcairn, and they were let go by the Pitcairn police maybe twice?
I think that would, A, be an opinion, B, that should be something that should go to Scott Farrelly, the chief of the Pitcairn Police.
I'm sorry?
Getting back to Monroeville's issue, I would like to ask about the Monroeville
Okay.
brawl.
You want to fly by that, right? The alcohol problems that maybe some people we know have that have been stopped in Pitcairn.
Mr. Mayor, am
and
I
they're
able
not
to
willing
speak
to
without a
admit that
councilman
they're an
interrupting?
alcoholic.
Go ahead, Chad, finish your 4th
Thank you.
point.
So we had the Monroeville brawl, right, where we had a bunch of teenagers come, and again, I know that happened across the country. How many arrests were made in that brawl?
I don't know. I don't keep up with what they do every on a daily
Because what was reported on the news, and that's why I wanted to come and get the actual statistics here. What was reported on the news was that we called in buses, and the buses took, because a lot, actually not a lot, all of the
Was
the
this from
individuals-
last year?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
All of the individuals involved in the fight, right,
years.
were not from Monroeville. So they were bused back to their place of origin. But if there were no arrests made, what does that send to people coming into Monroeville and doing crime? So you ask for solutions, I've given you solutions, I've showed you statistics, and then you shrug them off and say, well, Chad, you're just making Monroeville look bad. Look, we have a problem. We need to identify that, and we need to work with individuals.
Chad, trust me, we do that.
Okay, good. And
I know you're running for mayor, and that's what this is all about. But let's just be kind of to the chase. This department of ours, I am so proud to be their mayor, and I'm sure every one of these council members are as well, and every resident I'll bet in here has nothing but utmost respect. You're playing a political game. Let's don't do that, Chad. We know there's issues that we have to address. Yeah, is there an opiate epidemic in the state of Pennsylvania? Does Monroeville have it? Absolutely. Are we addressing it? Yes, we do. We're with the resources that's available here locally, and if we have to take them to Pittsburgh, that's the way it is.
Very good.
I can't force Forbes or UPMC East or any facility, you're going to do a detox unit.
I just said
or
talk to
you're
them.
going to do it. I can certainly agree that something we can ask them. I'm sure they've talked about it.
Very good.
And they talk about it regularly. I sit with UPMC East with their
Very well aware of
meetings on when they talk about community and what they can do for it. That issue's always brought up.
Okay.
But the key being is, please, don't politicize this stuff.
Well,
That's
I'm not,
exactly what you're doing.
I'm not politicizing. I'm bringing up real problems to
We know
individuals
the problems exist and we're dealing with them.
Thank you for saying that problems do exist, because that's the first time I've heard that up here. You had mentioned resources.
That's not true.
You had mentioned resources. I want to know if anyone up here knows what DayNet is.
What,
I've used JNet?
DayNet.
Daynet. Spell it.
DANET. It's through the district attorney's office. It's a partnership in which if our police officers make an arrest, let's say they make a drug arrest, they can follow up if they can follow up and make referrals, or they can make additional purchases. Our officers can then participate, and we are reimbursed by the district attorney's office. So
That's
instead of
something that Doug would probably be able to answer or deal with. But again, it's not my I'm not a police officer. I know that I'm support my department. I think every one of these.
Okay, but I was
members up here-
asked at least 5 times this evening to give solutions. So I'm asking if anyone up on council, because you guys are the
What
legislative
makes you
branch.
think that's a solution?
What makes DayNet, which gives us free policing, that reimburses for overtime paid for individuals
We
to
do
set up...
work with them on that.
Yeah, but how does that how much does that solve crime-wise?
How much does DayNet solve?
No, how much does our officers using that solve crime?
I think we should talk to every single municipality around us, because every single other municipality around us uses DayNet, which is, again, why I was asking
Again,
if
how
council...
much crime does that solve?
Ron, I asked you if you know what DayNet was. No one on council knows what DayNet is. You had asked for solutions, and I'm giving them, and now I'm being...
Wait a minute,
blasted.
first of all, I don't trust that you're giving the right solution, first of all. That's what you're missing.
Of course not.
I don't believe that you know what you're talking about.
Because at the last meeting you said that there was not a crime problem, when there
When
is.
it comes to policing, I don't think you have a clue as to what you're talking about.
Okay, do you know what DayNet is?
I know what JNet is, I don't know what DayNet is, and I don't think that's going to solve crime in Monroeville.
Okay, so again, I would ask that you reach out to local municipalities, I'll leave you with that, and ask,
Because quite frankly, if it did, I think our police department would be utilizing it. But
I would hope so as well. And
have a ball.
I know several of you know Steve Zappala. I know Mr. Mayor, you've met him on several occasions in this very
Know
room.
them well.
Please reach out to him or his office, any of the ADAs, and ask, what is DayNet? Should we be using it? What are the benefits? What are the cons? And then maybe we can share that with the rest of the council. Fair enough?
Have a great day, sir.
Thank you very much.